Sports is our passion. For years, we've connected fans to the game. But just like athletes and leagues, we must evolve and grow. This fall, 12 Ounce Sports is taking our game to the next level. Montana, we'll see you in October.
Oh, it's Friday. Welcome into Gamble Guy Friday nights. It's a beautiful Friday, September 13th. We got football tonight. We've got baseball. We got 3 picks. If you want to know who I'm picking, you got to subscribe on our platform. $5.99 a month. You get me, Philly Pete, Greg, the fantasy guru, the Vegas guys, everyone. What I do on Friday nights for a Fast 15, I break down some of these matchups I'm going to pick on the platform, kind of get you inside the numbers. Then you got to go on the platform to see who I pick. It's going to be, I'm not going to tell you my picks, but I did parlay it for, let me look on my bookie, plus 163. Feeling good about it too. Since I mentioned my bookie, we do have 2 gambling sponsors on the network. My bookie, promo code 12OZ Sports, all caps, no spaces. Get your deposit bonus up to $1,000. BetUS, promo code 12OZ, will get you a deposit bonus up to 150%. Let's go. All right. We got college football tonight. Some decent matchups, too. The first one I'm picking is UNLV v. Kansas. So we'll get into these numbers here. Kansas is kind of underperformed. They lost to Illinois last week. But I want to look. It opened at 11. It's worked its way down to 9. Let me see what it is on the bookie of my bookie. Oh, I'm way out of college football here. Here we go. On my bookie, yeah, it's 9, just like most of the other books. So that opened at 11, plus 11 UNLV, worked its way down to 9. So I found that interesting. Then I'm going to go to the money here. See where the public's betting. 55% of the bets are on Kansas, but 51% of the money is on UNLV, if I could say it right. Ooh, seasonal allergies. I'm stuffed up. I saw a note in here as I was prepping for the show and a subscription platform. Here it is. Kansas 0-2 in their last 5 against the spread. So keep that in mind. So if you are a subscriber and you want to hear who I'm actually picking in this game, you got to go to 12ouncesports.com/bet. Keep that in mind. Kansas is 0-2 in their last 5 against the spread. In the last 2 games, so far, the first 2 games of this season, neither Kansas game has hit the over. So some points to ponder there. Now I go into the teams here. One thing about UNLV, they're run heavy. Okay. Their quarterback, he's under 50% for the season. He's got 5 TDs, 1 interception. But he's also their leading rusher. He has 20 carries, 129 yards. So UNLV likes to run it. They beat Utah Tech 72-14 last week. They beat Houston in week 1, 27-7. Whereas Kansas was a top 25 preseason team. They beat Lindenwood 48-3. I don't even know who they are. And then last week they lost at Illinois 23-17. But they do have the slight advantage, even though Daniels at quarterback, he's a little over 50%, but he's got 4 interceptions with his 3 touchdowns, 289 yards. So they slight advantage, I'd say, for Kansas in the pass game. Kansas leading rusher Neal, 22 carries, 213 yards, 2 TDs. The ESPN Analytics predictor says Kansas 73.7% chance to win. That doesn't always mean anything. Receiving, UNLV's White the third, 7 catches, 122 yards, 3 TDs. Kansas led by Grimm, 15 catches, 151 yards, 2 TDs. So on paper, you almost want to think this is even. I mean, each of them's only played one. Well, Houston's not Power 5, but, one Division I team, as I'm old, so we used to call them Division I. Kansas lost to Illinois by 6. UNLV beat Houston by 20, and that was at Houston, by the way. So I guess you're going to have to rely on, if you wanted to take Kansas in this game, you must have some confidence in their run defense, because UNLV's run heavy. Like I said, not most, but 55% of the bets in that game just kicked off, by the way. Subscribers got my picks an hour ago. 55% of the bets are on Kansas, but 51% of the money is on UNLV. And you can bet, you can do live betting on my bookie if you're just watching this and you want to get in on the action. You can bet any moment of the game. So that's going to be my first pick on the subscription service. I'm going to pick something in that game. You can find out what it is, if you subscribe. I'm going to go to the other game here real quick. I wanted to remind folks, though, I had a really hot August. I started off a little cold in September. I'm bouncing back. But if there's any capper out there, it tells you he knows everything or she knows everything. They get all their bets right. Just remember, people lie, okay? People lie. Just like this young lady has lied. So don't believe cappers when they say that they know all the picks and they know more than everyone else. It's simply not true. Now, the next football game I'm picking tonight kicks off here in just under an hour. Arizona, Kansas State. I'm going to go to that one in the public betting. Let's see who's betting on this game. I'd be interested to hear or see. Oh, I didn't do the public betting for the other game. That's okay. Yeah, I did, actually. 67% of the bets are on Arizona because they're getting, 6.5 there. Let's see what they're getting on my bookie. I think this line opened at a different number too. Okay, so Arizona's getting 7 on my bookie. This says they opened at 8.5. The best odds you can get are 6.5. At those numbers, 67% of the bets are on Arizona. 63% of the money is also on Arizona. So the public is liking Arizona when they're getting, around 7-8 points. So that tells you a lot there, because if we're looking into the numbers, I'm confusing which mouse to use here. I have too many computers. So if we get into the numbers, the thing that concerns me about Arizona was week 1, they gave up 39 points to New Mexico, a team that's barely FBS. Okay. And then they had Northern Arizona last week and only beat them 22-10. It's somewhat of a sign of a weakness. I mean, yeah, their defense got better last week, but they've practically played 2 FCS teams. New Mexico's barely an FBS. I know they have the new coach, but they gave up 39 to New Mexico. That's troublesome. Kansas State, on the other hand, they beat a pretty tough Tulane team last week. And then I don't know what this acronym is. It's probably a small school that they beat 41-6 in week 1. We'll find out. UT Martin. So, Kansas State's got a win against a team that may have made a run at the playoffs if they won their conference in Tulane. There was some controversial calls. It could have went either way that game. Arizona, I'm going to keep saying it. They gave up 39 to New Mexico. 39. Okay. But aside from that, the computers think, 73.1% chance for Kansas State to win. But again, I told you, the public's betting on Arizona getting the points. The public, seems to think that's a pretty big line, and they predict this to be close. Now, this is a rematch of a bowl. Is this the rematch? No, the UNLV game. I'm sorry. The UNLV game, I forgot to mention that. UNLV Kansas played in a bowl game in the season last year where Kansas won 49-36. So I did mention going over that game. Kansas has not hit the over in their first two games this season, but they're playing a team they had a shootout with last year. Arizona, they're led by Fafita, 595 yards passing, 5 TDs, 2 interceptions. He's well over 50% completion. Johnson leads Kansas State, 334 yards, 4 TDs, 1 interception, well over 50%. Ground game's pretty even. Giddens is real good for Kansas State. He's got 32 carries, 238 yards. And then Arizona is led by McMillan, who has 12 catches, 315 yards, and 4 TDs. Kansas State doesn't have any receivers over 100 yards. So there you go with that one. I'm going to dive deep into some of the betting information because my baseball one will be fairly quick. I do have an MLB game. I said, a lot of the experts are putting money on Arizona with the spread. We have, out of 8 experts on this site, this insider site, that picked the over under, 6 of the experts picked the over. So they're expecting some fireworks in tonight's game. We went over their last games. Here we go. Okay. Kansas State 2-0 in their last 5 betting trends. Okay, Kansas State's 0-2 in their last 5 against the spread. That would indicate maybe this is going to be a close game, and that's why the public's taking Arizona with the points. I don't know why it says their road. Totals have gone over in one of K-State's first 2 games this season, which I'd have to obviously assume that was the Tulane game. Let's see what the trends are for Arizona. Arizona 0-2 in their last 5 games against the spread. Interesting. Something's got to give tonight. And then one of 2 Arizona's games this year went the over. So there you go. I think I mentioned this. Oh, this has changed a little bit. 69% of the bets are on Arizona. 65% of the money is on Arizona. So that was my second bet on the subscription service, where you're going to have to go to 120zsports.com/bet. $6 a month. You get a bunch of cappers on there. We give you our picks. We're running pretty hot. The third and final game I'm going to add into my parlay. Again, I'm not telling you who I'm picking, just telling you what games I'm looking at. I like the Reds versus the Twins tonight. It's a good matchup. Bailey Ober is on the mound for the Twins. I think that gives the Twins a little bit of an advantage. When you look at the 2 starters on the mound, the Reds have Julian Aguilar. So I'm going to get into the last few appearances for these pitchers. In the last 7, Ober is 2-1 with a 3.83 ERA. I already had the game splits there. The game logs are up. So Ober for the Twins pitched September 7th against Kansas City. 7 innings, 1 hit, one hit batter. 7 strikeouts, no runs given up. Before that, he pitched September 1st against the Blue Jays, where he put in 6 innings of work, 1 earned run, which was a home run, 3 walks, and 8 strikeouts. Meanwhile, the Reds, they have Aguilar on the mound. Whole different tale. Now, he's only 1-0 on the season. There's a reason for that. A lot of his outings, there was no decision. Oh, come on. Let's go. I'm running out of time. But his last 2 outings are pretty rough. The Mets on September 8th, 4 2/3 innings. He gave up 2 hits, a hit batter, 2 walks. He struck out 2. He didn't get out of the 5th. No decision there. And then September 2nd against the Astros, 2 2/3 innings. He gave up 2 earned runs, 2 walks, an intentional walk, and 2 strikeouts. The reliever got them out of that 3rd inning unscathed. Well, stop the bleeding there. So Aguilar's had a rough year. His only win was August 24th. His first outing was August 19th. So he's recently been called up, but he did beat the Pirates in 6 innings of work, 2 earned runs on August 24th. But it looked like the Twins have a little bit of an advantage there on the mound tonight. Oh, I'm running out of time. And they're fighting for their playoff lives. So there you go. Don't forget, bet responsibly. If you want to see my picks, you got to go to our betting subscription platform. It's $6 a month. Come on, it's pretty cheap. That's it. Have a wonderful Friday. Stay safe. Don't